Hello, my name is David Burton, and this is my assignment 2 for cloud computing. Firstly, I'm going to show you my swarm, my Docker swarm. So here I have my manager along with my 2 workers. They're active and ready for the demonstration. So I'm now going to create a service with 10 replicas. Listening on port 80 and redirecting traffic to port 8080. Service is going to be called web, and it's running the Nginx image, or Nginx, or Nginx is the other one I've heard it's called. Okay, so that's created there. Docker service ls, and you can see there is the service created. And there are the 10 replicas. Now, if I wanted to scale it, I can scale it up or down. So first, I'm going to scale it up to 20. Sorry. There. I'm going to scale it up to 20. Apologies. I had forgotten to include web here. So all I've done is I've added in Docker service scale web equals 20. So to continue, now we can see that I've scaled it up to 20, and then performing that same command, scale it down to 5, and there, down from 20 to 5. So now I'm going to show my container manager service. So I'll run you through the code now. Apologies for the delay. So here's the code. So I took the skeleton code that was given to us and I've modified it to include all the functionality requested. Functionality is shown here. All the get statements, post, patch, and delete statements. So firstly here I have a function for containers index, so this will list the containers. So this first method here it has a simple if statement, which will return a list of all running containers if a request is passed in for state equals running. Otherwise, this will return a list of all Docker containers, and it will it'll have received the request using curl or curl, and will return to the requester the list appropriate, either running or all. Next we have a method for it's called images index. It returns a list of all images. So it stores into output the Docker images, and I will run through the method Docker later. It's at the end of this particular program. It dumps the information then on the Docker images, providing a list of images. Next we have container show, which will show a specific container based on ID. So the request will request to see the inside of a container by ID. So if I pass in an ID, I'll be able to see what is in that container at that time. Then next, we'll be able to see the logs of any specific container, provided you've passed in the correct ID. We'll print the logs to screen. The next functionality then is image remove, which you provide the image ID, and then this will then remove it, again using the Docker command, which I'll run through now in a minute. Then we have containers remove, which removes the container based on ID again. Then we have container remove all. So basically what this does is it removes all the containers, but there's an if statement in here that as it's cycling through the containers and removing them, it will check to see if the container is the same name as the container that we're running this on. So it won't actually remove the container that this server is running on, because if it did, the whole thing would crash. And we'll see that again later. Here, in image removal, where we have an if statement that makes sure that the image itself, this image, is not deleted, but it'll delete all other images. Next, for the method of containers create, this will create an image. Now this and the following method are our creation methods. So what this method here does is it will take in either the name or the ID of an existing image and create a container containing that image. And we see that here in our Docker command. And that will create the appropriate container. Now below we have the image create, which is very similar, and it would, but in the sense that it will create an image rather than a container. Now below these next two, I don't believe work perfectly. Containers update and images update they are based on the ID passed in. So you'll either update a container or an image and you'll pass in an ID, but I don't believe these are working 100% correctly. Next, now we have these Docker, our Python Docker commands. So these have been used throughout the program. What these allow us to do is from within Python to call Docker command line commands. So here Docker accepts an argument, for example build or service, but more than likely, as we've seen above, we use it for commands such as Docker images. We use it for inspecting, seeing logs, remove image, rm, the remove command running, etc. It will execute the command unless it receives an unknown command, in which case it will return error. Yes, here, oh, by the way, here, just for use of Python 3, I had to use this decode function for std error and std out, just for its Python 3 thing. It not required with Python and Python 2, but just for the purposes of using Python 3 in this assignment, I had to include these two lines. These are other functional methods: Docker ps2 array, logs to object, and images to array. And then here we have the server run. So I hope I've adequately demonstrated the assignment here, and if you have any further questions, please feel free to email me, which will be included in my submission. Okay, thank you. One more thing I just wanted to add to the end of this video is that here, when we have resp equals json.dumps docker images to array output, what that's doing is it's taking the images that were put into output from here, the Docker images, and putting them in a JSON format into resp before it is returned in the next line here in the response. So it's putting out the images in JSON format, i.e. a list. Okay, thank you very much.